Hi, this is Elizabeth Hobbs, and I am a teacher at Washington High School, and I teach physics and applied physics, and this is meant as a parental help for the Minds on Physics, or otherwise known as MOPS classroom. And one of the things that throws off parents is that we really don't use the textbook a whole lot. We use this classroom webpage. And there are two features that I kind of want to point out to you about how to use it, and that's going to help your students a lot. The first one is I want you to go and take a look at the physics tutorial page. And physics tutorial page is like our regular classroom website or textbook. They are going to have topics based off of physics, and they'll have textbook answers. So for example, our first unit is going to be one-dimensional kinematics, and it will have reading that will help the student figure out how to do the MOPs for each lesson. So it'll be a table of contents, a list of all the components, and there'll be a Minds on Physics module for that. And we'll explain what that means in a second. But let's go ahead and take a look at the textbook portion of it. So you can kind of click through a link, just like a website, and you have explanations here that you would read fast through, and you could see key vocabulary terms and examples and that kind of thing. The thing to help with this is to make sure to read the whole thing through, and then do the check your understanding at the bottom of each section. That's going to make sure that you have the right idea about what is, in this case, what is vector or what is scalar. Okay, and for each unit that we have, it is online of how to do things. We'll also have notes in class on how to do things, but this is a good resource. So if your kid's not getting it, or you're not getting it, or you're trying to help the kid and you're trying to figure it out together, this physics tutorial on the physics classroom website is going to be the best place to go just to get a basic understanding of how things work. So the second part of the physics classroom is the Minds on Physics phenomenon. And so on the left-hand side, you want to click on Minds on Physics. And what Minds on Physics is it's kind of homework, it's kind of a game, it's interactive. I really like it because it provides immediate feedback on whether the answer is right or not, instead of homework, or it may take me 3 days to grade to get through everything, and by that time they've forgotten or learned the wrong thing. So Minds on Physics modules are hard. They require critical thinking. There's probably 8 to 10 questions in each module, and they require not only you to recognize physics concepts, but to also understand them and apply them. So when a kid logs in, he's going to click on the Start Mopping, and this is available also on iPad. And you want to activate Adobe Flash Player and that kind of thing. Oh, I don't want it blocked. Go allow it, remember. If this pops up, you want to remind later. And this is also available on the Mac version of it too. It's just a little bit easier to go through Windows. And your students should be able to get through it through the Chromebook server. And what they'll do is they will answer some questions. But in order to answer questions and get credit for them, they need to click on the For Credit mode. They need to type in their teacher code, and for my class, it's WHSEH, because those are my initials. For another class like Miss Brockschmidt's or Miss Long, it's going to be WHSML, or for Mrs. Midkiff, it would be WHSAM. And then the student ID is their Lumen ID number. So we're going to log in as a guest. They need to make sure to type in their student ID number correctly. Otherwise, the code that it generates at the end won't work. So you want to click on Log. This says it doesn't work, but really all it's doing is telling your teacher code and your student ID number. So don't get thrown by that. So MOPs are assigned for homework, and MOPs are assigned for class time, and it's a balance of in between. All right. Oh, come on. Let me log in. Let's refresh that page. The internet is not working the way that it should right now. Okay, so once you've logged in, you are going to want to click on mechanics, and it's going to talk about the different contents in mechanics. And we usually go in order of the list here. The first one we're going to talk about is kinematic concepts. And then each one of these is an individual assignment with 6 or so questions, making sure you understand the concept. So in this one, it's going to be scalars and vectors. And we're going to do this one because it's the quickest. You'll need to click on Start. And you'll have a couple of things. You'll be able to type the answer in here. You know your health bar and your progress bar. If your health bar goes to 0, you have to restart the whole entire assignment. And what you can see here is, so this is like identification, but if you needed help with things, you would click on the hints and help. And what it would do then is it pops up another window that tells you what the definition of scalar and vector is. And the key thing on this is you want your student to read it out loud and read the whole thing out loud. You'd be surprised how much of a difference in understanding there is between reading it in your brain and reading it out loud. So we've got the definition of scalar, quantity which is fully described by magnitude alone, and the definition of vector. A vector is a quantity which is fully described by magnitude and direction. So on this one, we're going to look, it's 55 miles an hour. Is it going to be based off of magnitude or direction? Okay, since it's only 55 miles per hour and there's no direction with it, I'm going to click in my answer thing, and I'm going to click on A. And the important thing here is make sure not to press delete, because that will exit you out of the program completely. Okay, click on check in. Got it right. Yay! Scalar or vector, that's got a direction in it, so it's going to be a vector. Got it right. Notice that my progress is going up and my health is still 100%. Vector quantity is fully described by both its magnitude and direction, which is word for word out of the definition that's going to give you hints and help. Now, this questions thing, let's check this answer and we'll take the next one. So I'm halfway down already. Questions. If you don't understand scalar or vector or how this is going, click on this questions thing and it will tell you what to do or what it means or how to track your answers. Okay? So that's what the questions mean. This silver medal is if you keep on trying and you're just not understanding it, you get a silver code. And so you would put an S instead of a G. And so that counts for half credit as a gold code. You always want to go for gold, but if you're just not getting something, you can always go for silver. Okay, quantities that are vectors. We're going to need displacement and velocity and maybe acceleration, maybe not acceleration. I don't think acceleration is a vector. So let's click on check our answer and make sure that we typed it in right. Might be in my D. Acceleration is a vector. So you'll notice that it's reworded and you have a couple of options. So we've got displacement, we've got velocity, and we've got acceleration. Well, I guess we're going to try that again. Let's see if we can read through. Oh, I got kicked out. Dun, dun, dun. So what you do is you get back up and you try again. Question group 4 is where you are having the most issues, which is basically is acceleration or which is vector, which is scalar. So it looks like I'm going to need to click on my hints and help. Okay, so sometimes on my hints and help, it will be on a browser underneath and open a window underneath instead of opening window at that upper tab. So you want to, if it's not popping up in that upper tab, you want to open the window below. I don't think you guys can see that, but we'll do it anyway. Come on. Oh, there's my hints and help. All right, so we've got the definitions of scalar and we've got the definition of vectors. And we have the 3 vector quantities are displacement, velocity, and acceleration. So you got to read through a little bit and find the answer. The think about it is going to be the most helpful to you. Hot links are going to be good resources for you to work on. So we will go back, find our answer. 3 vector quantities, list all that apply. And notice the list all that apply. Sometimes there's not going to be just one right answer. There's going to be multiple. That does throw a lot of people off. So we know our vector quantities are displacement, velocity, and acceleration. And they do have to be in alphabetical order. Double check. We got displacement, velocity, acceleration. Good. Okay, so I'm going to do the rest of these questions and show you what the end looks like in one moment. Okay, so I am finished doing the maps. I got all of them right, and I have a success code. This is the code that your student has to write down. Notice that it's pretty random on how things work. I've had students try and come up with their right success codes just randomly, and it doesn't work that way. What I do is I take these codes, I take their student ID number, I put them into a program, and it tells me if that is a legitimate success code or not. Once they get the success code, I can give them credit for completing their MOPs. I am planning to have a how to do each MOP, like go through, walk through how it works, and have those posted on Schoology. The student will need to access Schoology. I've been requested not to post them on YouTube because other teachers may not want that resource. But there will be a video on how to do each MOP. So between your student using the hints and help and the video on how to do each MOP, as long as they plan ahead, they should be okay. I will never give 8 MOPs in one day. Kids forget to tell their parents that I assign them probably every 2 weeks or assign them at the beginning of the unit, and they have the entire unit to turn them in, and they have probably 3 weeks to get them all done, and then they're due at the end of the unit. So kids who put them off till the last day, they're not going to be able to get all those MOPs completed. Really, for homework, you could probably only do 1 or 2 MOPs. 3 MOPs, and even I start making mistakes. So they really have to plan out when they're going to do it. I would suggest getting a schedule out, seeing when the football games are, seeing when the team practices are, when the late nights are, and planning when they're going to do their MOPs and when they're going to go to work. Because it is just kind of a lack of planning to get the MOPs done. If you need any help or have any questions at all, please feel free to email me through the school website, and I'd be more than happy to answer them. Also, let me know if this video is going to be helpful to you as a parent or as an educator. Thanks. Bye.